Hello, my name is Ashley Vitchie, and I am here to tell you about the Getty Museums and their website, getty.edu/museum. Here is the main page of their website, which features some highlights and their offerings. There are two Getty museums, the Getty Center and the Getty Villa. Both museums have free admission, but parking costs $10 to $15, so when visiting, public transportation would be the best option to avoid these fees. The Getty Center is located in Los Angeles, and the Villa is located in Malibu. The museums are about 25 minutes away from each other, and both offer very different experiences, so I would recommend visiting them on separate days. Considered the wealthiest man in the 50s and 60s, J. Paul Getty made his fortune in the oil business. The businessman and art collector used the bulk of his wealth to create the arts institution that bears his name. After his death in 1976, he handed down his estate to his small museum. The J. Paul Getty Trust was also created, the world's largest cultural organization dedicated to the visual arts. Through the Getty Trust, the Getty Foundation was created. The Getty Foundation supports institutions and individuals committed to advancing the greater understanding and preservation of the visual arts in Los Angeles and throughout the world. They do this through grant initiatives that increase access to museum collections, strengthen art history as a global discipline, advance conservation practice, and support current and future leaders in the visual arts. Since 1984, they have awarded nearly 7,000 grants, benefiting over 180 countries on all 7 continents. You can look up past initiatives to see past grant examples that have been made a difference in many people's lives. One of the most useful sections of the website for educators is the Education section, which is found under the Museum tab. This area of the site can be really useful for teachers to further their own education, or it can be used directly in any K-12 classroom. It can also be fun for families with kids, teens, and also community groups. I'm going to focus first on the section for K-12 teachers and students. Under this tab, you will find resources that can help you plan a visit for your school to the Getty Museum. I'm sure most of us don't teach or live in the LA area, so I'm going to skip over that part, but if you're interested in taking a trip, you can visit that section. There are also some professional development opportunities for teachers. The Create and Connect teacher workshops are offered mostly on Saturdays and Sundays throughout the entire year. So if you are ever planning a visit to Los Angeles, you could work this into your trip and also get some professional development hours. These workshops immerse teachers into a specific aspect of the Getty Museum's permanent collection and specific exhibitions, while learning specific ways to incorporate works of art into your classroom teaching. Workshops include hands-on art-making activities, lectures, tours, or small group discussions with museum staff. They also offer free full-day workshops over the summer where teachers explore specific exhibits, and they also collaborate with other teachers to generate classroom-ready lessons and activities for their own teaching. These are usually scheduled for one day during the summer and are pretty specific based on exhibits, so you would want to search and plan ahead to make sure it's relevant to your own classroom. Another amazing and free offering for teachers are the Getty webinars. Each webinar focuses on one theme related to works of art in the Getty collection and explores how to incorporate related teaching resources on their website. For information about upcoming programs, you can contact teacherprograms@getty.edu. One of the easiest and probably most useful resources for K-12 classroom teachers can be found under the Resources for the Classroom tab. Here you will find an amazing variety of in-depth lesson plans and activities which include visuals, objectives, materials needed, lesson steps, assessments, visual art standards, and also Common Core standards. You can look lessons up based on topic. You can browse their entire collection of lessons, or you can search for specific standards you are wanting to integrate into your curriculum. Let's take a look at one of the topics here, when Impressionism was a dirty word. First, you will see a nice little introduction to what the lesson will be about. You can then click on Lesson Plans, which will give you different options for grade levels, incorporating different subjects, and different age-appropriate art-making activities. So I'll click on this first one, which says can be adapted for kindergarten through 5th grade, the art and science of Impressionist color. The lesson overview states that students will learn about the Impressionist painters' use of color and how it connects to early 19th century scientific theories about color. They will explore combinations of primary and secondary colors, experiment creating secondary colors, and create a landscape using complementary colors. Sounds fun! As you can see, these lessons are pretty in-depth and are ready to use. They explain all the materials needed, questions to ask students each day, assessment ideas, and even options for students who want to explore further into the subject. These lesson plans are pretty great. When you click on Image Bank, you will see a variety of impressionistic work. And when you click on a specific work of art, it also gives you background information about each piece, questions you can ask your students, and some more information about the artist. Then you can also click on About Impressionism, which seems to be more for teacher use. If you need to brush up on some of the history of whatever topic you're on, these could be helpful for you. And then the last tab is Bibliography, which just lists all the sources used for each lesson. Some of the lessons offer some other really great options. Here under the Performing Arts in Art lessons, you will find some vocabulary that defines words throughout these Greek lessons. There is some medieval choir music that you can play for your students during class. And here you'll find a video about how ancient Greek potters typically formed and fired their pottery. Here's another video about it's a ballet warm-up. So you can have your students do a little dance warm-up, followed by a video on Degas and the art of his sketches involving ballerinas. Each lesson listed here has some really fun and unique activities, and I think that they're really worth looking into. They offer wonderful ideas that can help you expand your curriculum or just revamp or recreate specific lessons. If you are looking for some fun, new ideas, I think this is a really great place to search. They have a ton of resources and some fresh, new ideas. The Understanding Formal Analysis tab offers different ideas to explore the elements of art and principles of design with your students. Through these resources, students will discover how to identify the elements and principles and evaluate their role in the composition of a work of art. There are handouts for each element and principle that you could print out for students or complete together by projecting the image. They also show which lessons incorporate each element and principle, so this is one other way that you can search for specific lessons. There is also a short video that introduces formal analysis to students. The next tab is the Tips and Tools for Teaching. This offers guides to building your own lessons based on what grades you teach. Here you can also find different art-making activities with step-by-step directions. These could be incorporated into lessons you have already developed, or you could develop new lessons based on an activity that you would like to teach. The next tab is Getty Books in the Classroom. Here you will find a handful of books with ideas to expand the art experiences with your students after reading these books. When you click on a book, you have the option to buy it or see how much it costs. It also lists lesson plans and activities related to each book. There are some videos for teachers and other fun resources. So if you are a teacher who likes to read to your students or incorporate art books, this is a great site to explore. Next, you will find after-school resources, which brings the Getty Museum into your after-school program. You can integrate these resources into your program in order to build students' skills in visual analysis, critical thinking, and creative media exploration. You can use all 4 tools in a sequential lesson plan or use them independently. These could also be used in your regular classroom setting, not just after-school programs. So first you have the option of Getty Games, which is really fun. The first game is called Detail Detective. Here, students are given an image of a work of art on the right and 4 small details on the left. They need to match the correct detail to the painting. This game is timed, giving you 40 seconds to get through 10 images. So students can try to beat their score each time they play. They can challenge a friend and try to beat their score. And they also have the option of changing the theme, so that way they're not looking at the same works of art over and over. So this could be something that could be really fun, again, in your classroom or an after-school program or even with your own children. The next game is called Match Madness, which is like the game Memory that we all played as kids. You can choose from matching the exact images, matching halves, matching the word with the image, and matching images that are alike. This can be really fun for students of all ages, and again, it gives you options, so you don't get bored after the first attempt. You can play over and over and try all the different matching games. The next game is called Switch, which is similar to the game Photo Hunt, which was one of my favorite college bar pastimes. You can choose themes again, and then you're given 2 of the same images, but 5 things are a little different. So students are practicing their observation skills, trying to find what's different in the 2 images. I am having a lot of fun playing this game, probably a little too much fun. The next game is called Jigsaw Puzzle. Here you can choose from 12 different works of art to turn into a puzzle. You can then choose how many pieces you want the puzzle to be to make it simple or more difficult depending on how challenging you want it to be or age. The 144 option would probably take a while to complete, while the 16-piece puzzle would be better for younger kids. While you're doing the puzzle, you can click on the hint button to see what the image should look like. The last game option is called Make Art at Home, which would need to be planned out ahead of time because you do not complete the artwork on the computer. When you click here, there are 3 options for different art projects, which then leads you to a detailed PDF telling you the materials that you need, steps to complete the project, examples, and even templates that you can print out. So this could be fun, again, in the classroom, when students finish a project early, art club, or you could even send students to this website at home if you know that they would be interested in this. So that is it for the Getty games, but the After School Resources tab has other options for exploring collections, activities with the collections, and then some art making ideas. So you can explore here more if you're interested in those. Next, you find Resources for Students, which has a variety of materials for students of all ages. Most of these are pretty specific, but they can be integrated into lessons you're teaching, or you could send a student here if you know they're interested in learning more about a specific topic. First, you see Explore a Virtual Cabinet of Curiosities. This shows you a German cabinet created in the 1600s that stored artistic treasures, which you can learn a lot more about in the overview. You can also click on Show Structure, where you can rotate the cabinet, click on arrows to see the different drawers and cabinets in detail. You can also learn specific terminology of each part of the cabinet and learn what they stored. There's also a watercolor technique page that explains different watercolor techniques and gives you examples of how they have been used in the past by famous artists. You can also click on an option where you're able to listen to discussions about each image, which might add just a little something extra to your watercolor lesson. I also thought the timeline of 4 centuries of perspective could be useful in some of your classrooms if you teach anything about perspective. So this follows the timeline to explore 4 centuries of experimentation in perspective theory and spatial illusion. You can also click on the images throughout the timeline for more information. The zoom in on selected works of art is also pretty cool. Here students can compare works of art from different centuries or about similar topics. They can also examine specific works of art and learn more about them through curator recordings. The last aspect of student resources that I found useful is the video gallery. Here students get a glimpse of behind the scenes at the Getty Museum, which is great for those of us who are unable to take our students there. Here students can learn more about each collection, different art making techniques, conservation projects, and exhibitions. Under the Kids and Families tab, you will find resources and tips for visiting the museum with children. This gives you an idea of what to expect and how to plan ahead. You'll find food options, what to do with strollers, different kids programs, and just how to make your visit more enjoyable for the family. Exploring art at the Getty Center offers ideas to get your kids thinking, with question prompts, ways for kids to make up stories about art, and even games you can play with your children. There are some great suggestions to get children or even students more involved while looking at art. The Exploring Art of the Ancient World at the Getty Villa offers similar suggestions to get kids more involved. These ideas can really be used at any art museum or when exploring artworks in your own classroom. Under the Teens section, there is some information about a week-long experience called Summer Latin Academy. This program takes place at the Getty Villa and offers high school students an opportunity to immerse themselves into the Latin language and culture of the ancient Romans. The program is led by local high school teachers and combines classroom instruction spoken in Latin with activity-based exploration of the Getty Villa site and museum collection. Since the villa is under construction currently, the program will continue in the summer of 2018. So, I've shown you the most useful aspects of the Getty Museum website, which in my opinion is the entire education section under the Museum tab. I hope you have found some of this helpful and useful, and you will visit soon.